Baseball plays for Friday on the way. Two of the most powerful men in America, still friends. And of course, I'm referring to Mark Zinno and yours truly, Bryan Power.
I think the term is, according to the commenters, brotherly love. That's us.
Brotherly love.
Brotherly love.
Well, our wonderful producer, Dan Alexander, is from where? Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. So perhaps it is
where he drops
rubbing off on us.
In the lower third, leave me out of this.
Oh, wow.
There it is. There's the city of that's.
I never get any birds. I wanted to get a bird.
That is the Philly fan mantra right there. Just a big middle finger. That's how you all act.
They did it to Santa Claus, and by God, that means they can do it to us. I believe we're above Santa Claus on the pecking order.
Well, we give a lot more gifts
American
than Santa Claus
icons.
does. At least, winners to a certain extent. We both give out a $5 Tuesday winner in the NBA game finals, game one of the finals, whatever it's called.
We did. Thank you to everyone who was on board with myself.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who was on board with Mark Zinno. As I'll go first. Indiana, team total under 54 was my 4% best bet on game one. It was my $5 Tuesday play. Thank you so much, all of you who jumped on board. We had some nice CLVs. I told you right before tip-off that number was down to 52.5. So once again, in the NBA playoffs, we beat the line move. And that's now 7 straight winners for me in the NBA playoffs. And you,
now 8-3.
Similar success in the first half because you had Oklahoma City. We both targeted the first half. I was rooting for Indiana not to score. You were rooting for Indiana not to score, but you also needed Oklahoma City to score.
Cover 5. Yeah.
And score they did.
Yeah, I led by 12 at half, so it was comfortable. I mean, it got a little tight in the second quarter. I started to get a little, but for the most part, Oklahoma City was in full control. So we look forward to game 2 going forward. Not a bad night overall. Oh, I will say this much. Can I curse at the Yankees for a minute?
You can do anything. It's America. And they're your team, so you can, of course, curse the New York Yankees.
You have said repeatedly about the Yankees offense that they are.
Well, Mark, they're feast or famine. The Yankees are feast or famine. They either score 10 runs or they score no runs or 2 runs. It's a feast or famine.
That's what they do.
We took a shot last night because I really felt like it was prime. And I want to kick Slade Ciccone out of the Italian club after his performance. First of all, he gave up a hit in the first 3 innings, which was unexpected. Then when the Yankees finally got to him the second time they started rocking. Bellinger hits a 2-run home in the fourth. I'm like, boom, I need one more run. I took the Yankees over 2.5 in the first 5 innings. These jackholes load the bases with nobody out. Nobody out. And I'm on the phone with you. And I'm like, wait, you wanted to hang up? Like, BP, hold on. You got on the phone. They got 2 base hits from the 8 and 9 guys in the order. The one guy walked. The bases are loaded. Stay on the phone with me. Ride this with me. Everything's been going well. You're like, oh, no. This is what you do. This is oh, no. He gets exasperated. Oh, no. And I'm like, just stay on the phone with me. It's going to come through. I'm like, BP, we got bases loaded. I'm like, just don't strike out. I'm like, get the ball in the outfield anywhere. I'm like, hell, I'll even take a deep double play ball that scores a run. What does Ben Rice do? Grounds into a 4-2-3 double play. A run does not score. They intentionally walk Aaron Judge. Cody Bellinger flies out, and they don't score one flipping run. And I lost the Yankees' first 5 over 2.5 because this Yankees offense, it's not feast or famine. It's Aaron Judge and 8 jabronis. That's it.
Oh.
We're back to Aaron Judge and 8 jabronis. This team is not a World Series team. They cannot win the World Series with this lineup, period.
I'll say to you what I said all last year when you were saying many of these same words. They're still the best team in the American League on paper.
Yeah. Well,
which I don't know what that says about the rest of the American League. Was this Aaron Boone's fault? Not to open that can of worms.
No, I mean, look, again, Aaron Judge comes up with second and third and 2 outs, and of course, first base is open, so they don't pitch to him. I mean, like,
manager can't do anything about that. He can't, he
no,
can't say no.
He can't. That wasn't. It was interesting though because later in the game, the Yankees had the bases loaded. The Guardians had the bases loaded, and they pulled Max Fried. And you know who he brought in from the bullpen to face a lefty to get him out with 2 outs?
I was watching the NBA game, so I don't
Tim Hill The guy that moron Aaron Boone left in the bullpen to bring in fat Nestor Cortez against Freddie Freeman in Game 1 of the World Series.
You hate Nestor Cortez.
I hate Aaron Boone. Anyway, let's get to today's baseball slate. We have no NBA. We've got baseball only.
A baseball-only show. Again, 3 free Major League Baseball plays
I love
coming right up. When you talk about Little Heartbreak Hotel, my half of the double play on Thursday's show was definitely Heartbreak Hotel. I'll talk about that in a little bit later on. But, Mark,
you cashed on my half of the double play with the Texas plus a half.
They didn't even need the plus a half because they were beating the Tampa Bay Rays after 5 innings. And boy, do we have a pitching matchup for each and every one of you today. Mark can't wait to break this one down. Patrick Corbin against Mike Soroka. The Texas Rangers taking on the Washington Nationals. Patrick Corbin, we live in a world, Mark Zinno, where Patrick Corbin is a road favorite.
Yeah, that's
over
that
a major league team.
That world doesn't exist except for when the other guy starting is Mike Soroka, who is not a major league starter. Look, I know the Rangers can't score. I know they can't score on the road. They didn't score last night. But still, look, and it's crazy that odds makers look at these two starters and go, this is not an 8.5 game. This is a 9.5 game, because they know how bad these two pitchers are and how easily they can get rocked. The two of these guys combined have given up 15 home runs this year. I really, really want to just take the over, but I've had such a bad taste in my mouth with this 9.5 BP. I can't do it. So what do? I look to fade Patrick Corbin, even though Mike Soroka, even though Patrick Corbin stinks. Washington isn't terribly great against lefties, very middle of the road team. You know, as Brian Power would say,
It's feast or famine. Sometimes they feast, sometimes they famine.
and nonetheless,
I said that about these teams.
Washington has the worst bullpen by far. And we have a short number here price-wise to back Texas, who is a far better team than Washington, despite the records being so close. And the Rangers, yes, their road record is miserable. But I'm going to roll the dice here and try and, take it out on the National. I can't leave out their bullpen. That's the problem. I'd love to do just first 5 here, but it's foolish to leave out the Nationals bullpen, especially with an offense like the Rangers that really needs all 9 at-bats for a chance to score some runs here. So we'll take Texas on the money line.
And they are guaranteed all 9 at bat. I can't do my my own
voice. Well, if you're going to take them, you take the road team because they're guaranteed all 9 at bats.
They are guaranteed all 9 at bats.
That's a big thing for Brian Power. If you guys didn't know that, Brian Power wants all 9 at bats every time he makes a bet.
Want them all, but they can get all 9 against Mike Soroka and a really, really crappy bullpen. So there you go. Texas Rangers money line. That is what Mark Zinno is doing for his half of the double play. My half of the double play is going to be an under, and it is a game that it is an under that I will be betting personally because I will be at the ballpark. Diamondbacks.
Gotta love it.
First time ever catching a game at Great American Ballpark, believe it or not. I have not seen a Cincinnati Reds game, a home game live since the old Riverfront Stadium.
Get the chili.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I will. We have a Skyline chili here in Cleveland. My daughter loves it. Last time I went to a Reds home game, I piggybacked off going to a Fish concert. Your thoughts there, Zinno?
My guess is that you were coming down from a very high place.
1999, man. It was
yes, you were very high.
It was an incredible.
So high,
it was an incredible time. What a weekend!
Above me, she's so lovely. Jazz cabbage. What is that? What is jazz cabbage?
Dan's a lot younger than us. We don't know these terms anymore. Okay. Anyways, but Cincinnati Reds, I will not be going to a Fish concert. Yes, we all know what that is. Anyway, we all know, do you all know? I should ask, do you know what happened to the Arizona Diamondbacks on Thursday?
No, I do.
Remarkable comebacks. I mean, and you loved every
More like what happened to the Atlanta Braves. Look, you finally now agree to stick a fork in the Braves. They're done.
They're done. Seems harsh.
They're done.
Harsh, but they're not. The fact that I had them, top 5 or 6 in my power ranking seems aggressive. Now they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think.
No.
Atlanta blew a 10-4 lead in the 9th inning. That can't happen. Diamondbacks win 11-10. That's
7 runs. The Braves were 766-0 when leading by 6 runs after 9 innings. Now they're 766-1.
Speaking of Heartbreak Hotel, I teased this earlier. Let's follow through on it. My half of the double play, Zinno, on Thursday was The Royals against the Cardinals in the first game of the doubleheader, they had a 3-0 lead. What did I come on this show and say yesterday? Oh, if they've got a lead late, we're in great shape, guys, because the Royals have the better bullpen. Oops. Bullpen blew the game. I wasn't happy about that.
I really enjoyed that. Oops.
Was very frustrated by the Royals bullpen, making me look bad. Anyway, I'll be at the ballpark tomorrow. Diamondbacks, Reds. If you're new here, when I go to a game, when I go to a major league, but when I go to any sporting event, quite frankly, I always like to bet the under. It's a fun thing to do while you're there live. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you invested in the game. And yes, I know Arizona scored 11 runs yesterday, but you know what? They only had 4 entering the 9th inning before a historic meltdown by the Braves bullpen. And you look some of the previous games, you know, they've been alternating. Has Arizona. Talk about feast or famine. I guess that's the theme here, Zinno, because they scored 2 runs only on Wednesday. Then they scored 8 on Tuesday, only 3 on Sunday. So if that pattern continues, it's going to be a low-scoring effort for the Snakes. And then the Cincinnati Reds, okay, this is a team that has scored 3 runs or fewer 4 of its last 5 games, 4 runs or fewer all 5 games. And what can they not do well, Mark? Cincinnati.
Hit left-handed pitching at all.
Well,
They're terrible at it.
Guess Eduardo Rodriguez for Arizona. Southpaw. Now, he's not a very good southpaw, I'll be honest with you. His numbers are pretty heinous, quite frankly. But we're going to trust Cincinnati being in their worst split. Nick Lodolo, starting for the Reds, he's also a lefty, threw 6 shutout innings his last time out in a losing effort at Wrigley Field. So I'm going under 9, and that's all I got to say about that. Arizona, Cincinnati.
That's all I have to say about that.
People lost their minds in this town yesterday. It wasn't pretty. People were calling up sports talk radio and screaming. I love going to listen to local radio, like after big losses like that. I kind of enjoy people losing their minds.
You weren't on the air for that?
No. I'll judge.
You would have enjoyed that, wouldn't you?
I kind of would have, because that's where I get to just
be on the air. Were you calling, saying, would anyone like to call off the shift? I'll drive on into the station.
I got better things to do with my time. You know me. I'm very busy.
Yes, calling me.
Very busy. So we're calling you and sweating out first half bets and, everything else.
All right, guys. Time is ticking. It is of the essence. What am I talking about? Well, you don't have too much longer to get down on the morning wager. Buy one, get one special offer. 2 for 1. Mark Zinno, Bryan Power, all of our plays. Next 30 days for just one low price. And that low price is $299. Rest of the NBA Finals. Hey, we're already 2-0 in Game 1. Nice start to the Finals. No matter how long these finals go, you'll get every play from both Mark and myself. You'll get every baseball play from Mark and myself the next 30 days. And yes, the Club World Cup, that cash grab that FIFA is doing. All the plays from me. Mark, if he takes up another sport over the summer, you'll get that as well.
Yeah, guess what? By the way, I'd like to mention Chet Holmgren sucks.
Some snooker plays, perhaps?
No, I'm not playing any snooker.
You were going to get into it at one point.
I don't even, just, I don't know what we do sometimes.
Where's the eggplant picture? Remember the eggplant picture?
The tree with the eggplant? Yeah, that's gone.
No. There was another eggplant. It was the girl. I think it was the snooker player, and there was the eggplant.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She was a lovely lady.
By the way, can I mention again that Chet Holmgren sucks? Lanky ass.
I'm going to it's not very often that I can come on this national, dare I say, worldwide program and say I bench more than a professional athlete. I think I can outbench Chet Holmgren. Yeah,
I was a bad play by me last night, taking his points prop over. It was risky. It was very much I knew by the end of the first quarter it wasn't hitting. When he was like 1 for 5 with 2 points, I'm like, oh, this is dead.
What do you think? Can I outbench Chet Holmgren? That's the
I do. I think Chet Holmgren is...
I remember when it came out that Kevin Durant at the Combine only benched 135 pounds. For weeks, I went around town saying I can bench more than Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
It was one of the great times of my life.
I agree with you. It was yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Okay.
Let's go from me bench pressing more than 135 pounds to betting on the Chicago White Sox. Are you sure you'd like to move on, sir? Because that is what we are going to do for our best bet.
We were crazy enough to bet on the Rockies the other day, and we cashed it. So let's keep the bad team, good win juju coming.
When we bet on the Rockies, and we don't do this often, guys.
No.
Okay, we don't do this often. We bet with the Rockies. It was just straight up money line play. We knew they were going to sweep the Marlins. Well, we didn't know, but we felt there was a strong chance they would, and they did. In this instance, with the Chicago White Sox, Mark, we're going to take 1.5 runs. We get that luxury. They're at home hosting the Kansas City Royals, a Kansas City Royals team that played a doubleheader on Thursday. So, dare I say, they are a little fatigued as they head to Chicago.
Tell us more.
They will be starting Seth Lugo, who, as you know,
you don't
I believe stinks. I don't think he's a very good pitcher. Very overrated.
He stinks.
His expected ERA line on his Baseball Savant page always calls out to me.
Doesn't it, though?
Yes. And then furthermore, you want to talk about just due. The White Sox have lost at least 10 in a row to the Royals. I say at least because I only had the last 10 data in front of me, and they were all losses. So I don't know how long this losing streak goes back. Quite frankly, I don't care. White Sox plus 1.5 is our best bet. Tell them more, Mark Zinno.
Let me add some stuff in here. Some of it will piss you off. Others won't. White Sox bottom 5 in batting average, OPS, and WRC plus at home this year. And the two starters here, Bryan Power. When I mentioned Seth Lugo, I got to tell you that Seth Lugo this year only gets 3.4 runs of support. They're just 5 and 5.
Like him.
His teammates don't like him. Our good buddy Davis, don't call him Drew Martin Betts. Davis Martin, you know what he gets in run support this year? 2.82 runs of support. Oh, no. So these are guys who don't get a lot of run support. These are two teams that don't hit the ball that much. That helps us with the plus 1.5 here. The Royals will have a tired bullpen. Not only that, it's a good bullpen, but they will have a tired bullpen, and we just have to hope the White Sox bullpen doesn't kill us late. That's going to be our biggest thing here. Bryan Power doesn't like when I do that. He doesn't like when I speak into existence.
No, I don't like the Royals bullpen because they screwed me yesterday.
Well, you don't like it when I talk about ways that a bet could go wrong, because even though the people in the comment section like when we mention the ways a bet could go wrong. So, also consider maybe White Sox plus 0.5 run first 5. Worth a look. No, look at you. Look at you already wavering.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to waver. I think
I don't like you wavering.
The Royals offense that you brought up, they struggle. And I think them needing to win by 2 runs on the road.
They do, yeah.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Don't like the situation for them coming off the doubleheader. So, the Chicago White Sox, the old pale hose, if you will. Plus,
what about them hoes?
That's our best bet.
Who's hoes?
I don't like them hoes.
I don't like these hoes. I don't like them hoes. I don't need no hoes.
All right.
How about them hoes?
I got you. That's all I need, Mark.
I got you, babe. And the hose.
All right.
Garden hose, hose A, and hose B.
I think they've all had enough. Have I told the people to subscribe, because it does keep this content free? Yeah, it does. You told them about the morning wager package. Okay. We appreciate all you guys in the comment section. We most people seem to enjoy our hijinks, and there are a lot of hijinks. There are. We've told them. We've given them 3 plays. We've tap danced about our Game 1 winners, our respective Game 1 winners in the NBA Finals. Yep. I think that's all. And please comment and smash that like button if you have a heart. Please do. Haven't already done so. We want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. A great weekend. I'll be down in Cincinnati. I will be in Alabama with the military, doing military things. Oh. By the way, Alabama shouldn't be a state. That's okay. I want to just leave the people with that. You know, it just shouldn't be great. Like when I got there, I looked around and I'm like, how is this America? This doesn't feel like I'm in America. I don't know where I am, but it feels like Sarajevo, and it just looks unimportant. Why are you laughing that hard? You know we've got 3 listeners in Alabama. They're going to be pissed. Alabama should be pissed in the comment section. Yes. So you can let Patty. Okay. See, that describes Alabama right there. Stop and start. It just doesn't work. For Sweet Home Alabama, for Mark Zinno, I'm Bryan Power. Until next time, let's cash the tickets. Watch my winnings grow.